KirstyTV. I'm here today with my guest Peggy O'Neill. Peggy has one of the biggest hearts I know in one of the smallest bodies. Peggy was born a little person. She's gone on to become an inspirational speaker, author and psychotherapist, and she shares a message of how you can learn to love what's difficult in yourself. Thank you so much for being here today, Peggy.
Thank you so much for having me, Kirsty.
So Peggy, you're in a really great place in your life now, but it wasn't always that way. Where did it start?
I think the difficult part started when I was a little kid. So I think probably when I went to school, kids would tease me for being a shrimp and a little, small fry, half fry, all that kind of names and stuff. And then when I was at 4th grade, I think I went through a transition where I figured out that this wasn't something like a Halloween costume. Like this was it. This was like going to be my reality for the rest of my life. And the other part of it was that it's not really just that I'm the smallest kid. Now I'm a dwarf, a midget. I'm different. I have a stigma. There's some kind of stamp that's been put on me that said that I'm not as good as everybody else because of my physical stature.
So you were feeling this on a daily basis?
Yes, and I have to say that I'm fortunate that I sort of got a happy constitution, and I think that's true for most little people. Yeah. And it's a good tool in our toolbox because we have to sort of ward off a lot of that negative influence that comes from the outside. So that's a sort of a gift that I got that I feel is a good thing. And it was also challenging to sort of keep my head above water when I was getting those negative messages.
So what was your self-esteem like back then?
Pretty crappy. Yeah, it wasn't very good. And I would say that I did a good job at presenting a good mask or a good false persona. And I didn't feel good about myself. And as the time of my teens went into my 20s and then to my 30s, obviously by the time I was in my mid-30s and I was suicidal, I'd wake up in the morning and I'd just cry and I'd think, I can't do another day.
How did you get to that place?
How did I get there?
Yeah.
I think it was two things. One thing was a repeated experience of failed relationship. And every time the relationship failed, I took it personally. Like, this is about me and that I'm unlovable. And that compounded. It
fascinates me how you can go from it being, a bit of bullying to the point where you don't believe you should exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is that mindset and what do you have to be careful of on that slippery slope?
Well, I think you have to be careful of the critical voice that tells you that you are with these other people, that you are not enough, that something's wrong with you. Whatever it is, maybe your breasts are large, or maybe you have big earlobes, or maybe, you're overweight.
Fat, you're skinny.
Anything, I mean, I wrote a book.
Anything different.
Yeah, I wrote a book about a girl who was different. She had a square head, so anyone could relate to her. Little square head ended up discovering who she really was. Yeah. And that's the thing that people need to keep. It's like they say, in baseball, keep your eye on the ball. It's like if you're feeling bullied and you want to be bully proof, you've got to keep your eye on your true self, not on this critical voice that comes up and says, I'm not enough. And actually when that does, I always tell people you are in control of what voice you listen to and you're inside of yourself. There's a voice that says you're beautiful and perfect, and there's a voice that says that you're not. And the voice that says you can, a voice that says you can't. Yeah. And always to listen. And you can also command those voices to stop, to just silence them.
Oh, I love it when you do that. I've seen you on video.
Shut up.
Go on, show me how you command the voice.
Yes! Shut up! And you have to,
it's take so scary. On. You literally do this.
Yeah, and you have to take on that commanding energy because you have to become bigger than it.
Yeah. So something changed and shifted, but you're still a little person.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you make that shift? Because I think that's something that a lot of people have a problem. The problem doesn't go away. Right. So something shifted in your perception around it, your view of it.
Totally. And I was just giving a talk to some middle school girls and boys. Yeah. And I said, if you've noticed, I'm still a little person. And when I wake up now, every day is a party. Yeah. So I said, my circumstances haven't changed. I'm still a little person. But I've gone from being suicidal to being able to celebrate my uniqueness because I made a choice to focus on changing the things I could change. The part of ourself that we put our attention on is the part that we will become.
So what was that transformational moment? What was the moment that was transformational to help you shift?
I was was taking a class to deal with my sort of victimization, and one of the things that they helped me to become empowered was to do some what they call expressing and releasing, and to actually let myself be honest with myself about how I felt. And they gave me a big stack of pillows and a bat, and I was doing some very rigorous, I hate you, and I hate this situation, and like beating, and just actually it was the most cathartic, wonderful, energizing, amazing experience, just that alone. And when I laid down on my pillows, I don't know, punching and screaming and all that crazy stuff for about a half an hour, 45 minutes, and I laid back on my pillows, and when I closed my eyes, I saw something in my heart that changed my life. And it was a diamond. And the diamond was bigger than my entire body. And the light streamed out. And when I saw the diamond in that moment, I knew that it was a representation of a deeper part of me. It was my true self that was showing itself to me and said to me not in words, but I knew that this is who I really am, not this thing that people point at and laugh at and giggle at and talk down to and condescend to. And that was the turning point. And since that experience, I take time every day to reflect on that particular part of myself.
So what do you think has been the greatest gift out of having the experience of living life as a little person?
Definitely the greatest gift is to understand that I have a true self and a false self. And my true self is the place where happiness and joy and love are not just abiding, but they're overflowing.
Well, and recently you went through a divorce.
I did.
Which, for anyone is a challenging time. And I'm going to share in this email that you sent to me.
Yeah.
Because I thought that it was really special, and obviously you were okay with that. But you said, I used to believe that the degree of my lovability was measured by how much romance I had in my life. What do you believe now?
I believe that my lovability is measured by the joy and depth and delight of each and every moment. That's how I define it now. If I am experiencing the sun coming down and shining and warming me, and I experience that as a gift in that moment, then that uplifts me. That becomes what is the love. And you start to see love not just from one person, and this is probably the biggest transformation that I've had in the last couple of years, Kirsty, is that I thought it was really important to just be loved by that one special person, my husband. Yeah. And now I'm learning that potent love comes from all kinds of sources. It comes from a dog, it comes from a little baby, it comes from a grandfather who's struggling to walk, and they look in their eye and smile, and they all of a sudden take a deep breath and their worry is gone. It's like it comes from so many places.
It comes from great friends.
Eesh.
Like you. So I hope that Peggy has inspired you as much as she does inspire me to live a full life, to understand that you are not flawed, that you are completely perfect, you are a diamond, and that is within all of us to feel. So I look forward to seeing you next week. Don't forget to tune in, to subscribe on YouTube, to Facebook us or tweet us. We love hearing from you, so continue the conversation, and we'll see you soon on KirstyTV.